to a real fight wasn't right. Where can she dream here? Took a hold of her.
Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Zak Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PAC channels. I want to welcome you to Community IMpACT. We've got, as you can see around me, a little bit of a new look going. We've got a new program that we're working with. We're working with Things Network actually right now, trying to come up with the right fit for all of us. We kind of all do the same thing, just different subjects all the time. So we're looking for the best one, and we're going to be working a lot more with Things Network. Stay tuned. There's some great things that are going to be coming out of that. Fun show today because we are going to be a little bit all over the board, but the great thing about it is it all comes back to one thing, and that's all coming together. Okay? Podcasting for all coming together, PAC channel, packed. And we're making an impact, and that's what we're here to do. Hey, I want to, you're going to be meeting him here real quickly. Amin Njonkou, okay? A little bit difficult for me to say. Amin Njonkou is a brand new partner of ours. He just joined with us. There's a couple things that I learned in this interview, and one of them is so very important because he has also become part of the Miracle program. So you're going to be seeing him on the Miracle program. He's going to be taking part in the Miracle program. And the great thing about what he went through is he grew up with one parent Muslim and another parent Christian. And as I say in this interview, this is perfect because it shows we can do this. Let's be honest here. Muslim and Christian, that's not exactly like saying, well, I'm Buddhist and you're Christian. These are two religions that historically have not seen eye to eye. But there was love in this family. There was a lot of love in this family, and you're able to tell by this interview with this young man. He is fun, he's fantastic, and he's a really good guy. And he is now a silver partner with us on Community Pay It Forward program. What is the Community Pay It Forward program? We run a little thing called Shop, Click, and Pick. It's all about shopping with our partners, and then you pick where money's going to go. People ask us for help. You shop. You find somebody who touches your heart. You pick them. Click a picture of the receipt, send it to us, and they get a portion of what you just shopped for. So it's called Shop, Click, and Pick. And then right after that, we've got our brand new friend, Amin Njonkou. Introducing Shop, Click, and Pick, the simplest way to support those doing good in communities everywhere. We understand that shopping is a necessity, but with a slight adjustment, you can make a huge difference without spending any extra money. Here's how it works. Please visit communitypayitforward.us and navigate to the Find Your Partners tab. Introducing Shop, Click, and Pick, the simplest way to support those doing good in communities everywhere. We understand that shopping is a necessity, but with a slight adjustment, you can make a huge difference without spending any extra money. Here's how it works. Please visit communitypayitforward.us and navigate to the Find Your Partners tab. Discover our verified giving partners, which are trusted allies ready to meet your needs. Shop with any of the partners that resonate with you. Click a picture of the receipt or invoice, then pick the mission partner you wish to support and use their QR code to send the receipt directly to us. After that, all you have to do is sit back and enjoy your purchases, knowing that you've made a meaningful. Hey, everybody, we're here with a brand new silver partner, and we could not be more excited than to welcome our friend Amin Njonkou. How are you doing today? And welcome to the family.
I'm doing very good. We are getting a little bit cold here
Yep.
up here. It's fall. The colors are beautiful, but I'm doing good. I'm doing good. What
You
about yourself?
Yeah, we're doing good. It's actually it warmed up to 56. We dropped into the 30s. Of course that's Fahrenheit, but we dropped into the 30s last night. So it was
Probably
bit
sitting at 37 to 40 right now.
yeah, yeah. It was a bit chilly. It was a bit chilly when I let the dogs out this morning, but that's just meaning that, we're coming to the end of another year,
Yep.
which means something very, very important to you and what you do. Um, I would like to ask you first, today has special meaning for you in your business. Can you tell us what you do and what today is?
Yes, that's correct. Today is our special meeting because it's actually the second day of open enrollment. We all know about open enrollment is that 2 month of the year where people can actually start shopping around for a new health insurance coverage for the next 12 months. That doesn't really affect what I do. The open enrollment doesn't affect, but it's a good timing where people are more, I would say, open to actually listen, and then they open their eyes for the next 12 months and see what could be done for in terms of health coverage. So basically what I do, I work with a non-for-profit organization based out of Florida, and we do health sharing. Health sharing, it's an alternative to traditional health insurance. The benefit of health sharing is, first, we don't have any open enrollment. I know it's the open enrollment period, but with the program itself, there is no open enrollment. Somebody, client members, I don't even call them clients, I call them members. They join our program, and today, which is October 16th, and they get coverage starting on the next month, November 1st, and then that's all throughout the year. So somebody could come in at February 14th on Valentine's Day and then get cover starting on March 1st. So that's the benefit. And more than that, it's also because it's a non-for-profit, it allows our members to have affordable health care and also better care. First, why is it affordable? It's non-for-profit. So all the money collected, all the premium paid from a member would go towards paying their medical bills. That's the only motive, paying medical bills. You might agree with me that right now the healthcare system in the U.S. It's broken. Healthcare is number one reason why people get bankrupt, and then it shouldn't. And then that'll fall in probably into how I got into this, and it started almost 20 years ago. Wow, it's already 20 years ago. I used to be a registered nurse, and I worked in the field. I was a young registered nurse, full of energy. Worked in a neurosurgery unit, so people would come in usually for brain tumors, from epilepsy, from spine injuries, uh, all that. So
TBIs,
say again,
yeah, TBIs,
TBIs, yeah,
accidents. Yep, yep.
accident. So I saw people come in and slowly they would you slowly would get worse and worse, and then you could see the emotional toll, the physical toll, definitely the medical toll, but also the financial toll. When you spend days and days in the hospital, you might be when you leave, if you do leave, you might be in shock when you get that medical bill. So I worked there for a couple of years, and I was just it was just not for me at that time. The mental toll, the emotional toll was a lot on me.
Yeah.
It's very difficult, Phil. I really my hand goes up to the nurses, the doctors, because they're doing a very good job. I mean, they're heroes without a cape. and then they deserve, all what they're doing. They're working hard, but it was just not for me. I was not emotionally ready, and then I left the field, and I went into my legal practice, which I love doing, but I was still wanted to help people. Have an impact. Right now I have an impact on my client, and then they love what I'm doing. I hope they love what I'm doing, but I still wanted to have a larger impact, and then I still had that healthcare space in mind. And then a couple of years ago, when a business partner of mine introduced me to this program, which is health sharing, it just made sense. And then for me, it was like, oh, this is the answer to people's need. This is really like an answer where people would actually save on their medical bill. But more than that, is to have access.
You
Having access it's number one. You told me you had an accident. You were able to have access to that, and that you would probably cover and had good coverage at the time. But some people are not that lucky, and they're not in
Yeah.
in large
Oh yeah. Yeah.
urban
You know,
city. Go ahead.
it is, I mean, one of the things that we have a lot of people come to us is because they didn't have adequate insurance, and they had only liability or whatever it is, and they don't realize how little, when they sign up for it, how little that covers, little to basically nothing.
I think, yeah.
Um, and so they end up with a lot of trouble. Um, you are in and cover both Canada and the United States. What is the difference when you talk to residents in Canada to residents in the United States? What are the difference when it comes to let's just call it the sales pitch?
Mhm.
How do you approach each person?
Yeah. So the program itself, it's a US based program. As I mentioned, it's based out of Florida. So it's all for all the US resident and obviously US citizen. So it allows somebody from, let's say, Vermont or from Florida it could be traveling across the country to, let's say, Colorado, and then goes down a ski hill, and then end up breaking up an ankle or a wrist. That person will have access to an hospital in Colorado, not having to fly back, and then that person won't have to worry about is the doctor, is the anesthesiologist, is the hospital in network. So the pitch itself is for U.S. resident, you won't have the freedom to have access to any network, or because there's no network, to have access to any medical providers out there in case you need. That will be the speech. It's the freedom of freedom of choice, basically. There is no, you're not tied to any network. Freedom of choice, but more than freedom of choice, when U.S. Members are traveling outside of the U.S., one thing that you mentioned is have access. We have a pretty robust emergency plan. When somebody from the US is traveling abroad and is into an emergency, that person in that country would have also could use and then be covered with that with our program, even if it's outside of the US. Now, for Canadian, it's a little bit different. For Canadian, because it's a US-based program, the Canadian would be for people that are, they might want to get away from the cold in Canada, and then they want to spend a few months in some of the southern states, Texas, Florida, California, you name it. And then those people usually they buy a property, probably a condo, in a condo unit, and then just they stay there for a couple months. And then those people usually during those time, for 3 months, if anything happened to them, they might have access to some of the travel insurance, but those travel insurance are just limited in time frame, or they might be just limited in coverage. With our program, it's a comprehensive program. So you need in hospital care, you need at a hospital, you need any medical provider, you would have access to them. For Canadians, a little bit different. For Canadians, I would ask them, first, do you have a passport to be able to travel to the US? Second, do you have a US bank account? Usually they would, because usually if they have, properties in the US, they have to pay property tax, they have to pay HOAs, they have to have a
Oh yeah.
So they would have a bank account. So those would be mostly for people who are traveling. And also, even if you're not traveling, or if you're not living, but if you're staying for a long stay, like truckers, truckers that travel across the country, that go international between Canada and the US, those people are also, they would have access to that program. So depending on who I talk to, it's always the question, do you want to have the most basic question, do you want to have the freedom to go anywhere? And then you want a program that's affordable? People would say yes to those questions, and they would have they'd be more than open to come onto our program.
Here comes the question, the dreaded question that I'm going to ask you. We have got elections coming up here in the US. There's also elections coming up in Canada. Are there any candidates out there, and we're not asking for an opinion, everybody can make their own opinions, so this isn't going after anybody. This is a simple question. Are there any candidates that are pushing it changes that will come, that will affect what you're bringing to people?
Yeah. From the Canadian side, I don't think so. No candidate would change anything because it's US. But from the US side, we have the two candidates, Harris, Trump, and then their approach to healthcare is different. On one side, they want to have more caps and control over medication. On the other side, they want more privatization. I don't think we change anything, to be honest, because we, and I don't want to be politically here. I just want to, I'm just looking down the facts here. Our program became more popular after Obamacare, when they had access to the Obamacare. So people would actually look into more different options to be able to save on to have more affordable programs. And we know what happened during the 4 years that Mr. Trump was president. It didn't change much of the Obamacare. Is it going to change anything else? I don't think so necessarily, but I don't have a crystal ball, so I can't really tell.
Right.
But that being said, to be honest, I don't think it would, because people are more and more open. People are tight. When you're tight, people are probably they're more open to look into, how can I save a buck? How can I save? And then healthcare after mortgages, after rent, is number one expense. People are, I don't think it would change much, to be honest. I don't think so.
And I mean, here's the reason I asked that question. Okay. I know that there are a lot of people who are really, really hesitant on making any changes right now, because the future is so, because the race is close, and they're afraid to make any changes that they're going to come to find out in the future. Oh my God, I made the wrong choice here. And now, because I made that change, I'm in a different position. And that's the reason why I asked that question, is I just, I didn't think that we were in a situation, whereas one of the candidates has not come out with a substantial health care plan, good or bad, whatever. I wanted to make sure that, that people understood that, look, there's high doubt that any of this will change. So that's the whole reason I came up with that. I appreciate you not putting anything political behind it. It's just a fact.
Yeah, just a fact. To be honest, I don't think, the program I'm offering, it's an alternative to traditional health insurance. But I don't think tomorrow is going to change the healthcare system. The reason why is we need healthcare insurance.
Mm-hmm.
We need healthcare insurance specifically for anyone that's in a very has a lot of medical history, has need to go a lot to a doctor. We need those. I'm not saying that we're going to get rid of health insurance. We still need health insurance.
Yeah. Oh,
What
yeah.
I'm saying is, for people that are healthy to fairly healthy, and the people that are more tight, you might want to consider as another option also. And the benefit of a program, especially in groups, it's that it allows. I don't know if you know Cobra. Cobra, it's when somebody lose their job, and then they have to pay into health insurance, healthcare insurance during that period that they're in between two jobs. So, with our program, it could help those people that are in Cobra if they are looking in between two jobs. But to be honest, I don't think our program is going to change profoundly the way health care works, but it's not going to get rid of health insurance. Health insurance has a lot of necessity. It's necessary. It's a necessity.
Yeah, actually, you know what? That's going to lead to my next question. You mentioned that you are a tax attorney, and now you are slowly making the transition to something that affects your taxes, which is healthcare. You do get, you do get tax advantages with healthcare and everything like that. It does, your healthcare benefits do show on your tax returns. So, and does this show on your tax returns the same as traditional insurance?
Yes and no. Yes, in certain instance. If you have how could I say it? If you have, it state-based first, and then second is federally based. So I'm just going to go federally because every state is different, obviously. But federally speaking, if you are, how can I say it? On the personal side, on the personal return, it's not deductible. Not like a HSA, a high saving account. It would not be deductible from your personal return, basically. On the however, if it's a group, when I mean a group, it could be a corporation, it could be a LLC, it could be a
C Corp.
a C Corp, any type of organization that provide health benefit, not only a healthcare, it could be a health benefit, it could be how do you call it? It could be any type of group benefit, 401ks, retirement benefit. When the employer, makes a contribution towards your premium, that will be deductible for the corporation and the employer. So in that sense, on a personal level, basically on a personal level, no, it would not. But on the corporate level, where you have your employer providing the benefit to the employees, it would be a deduction that could use it towards reducing their taxes.
Okay, but if you do not have insurance, you do get penalized, correct?
Yes.
So, but
in
this will
certain
keep
states,
you from being penalized.
yes. In one of my client that was actually based in California. California is one of the states that would penalize you if you don't have any type of health
I
coverage.
believe Colorado is too.
With Colorado, yeah. So in that case, we confirm that with the local accountant that health sharing, like our program, would not be penalized.
Okay.
It's considered like insurance. It's not insurance, but it would not be penalized. So it's a great alternative to health insurance, and then you still get the perks and not be penalized on the state level.
I mean, you let's talk a little bit about you. You obviously don't sound like a regular Montreal resident, and you have an accent that's a little heavier than most Vermontians. So
Yes.
can you tell us where is your lineage from? Where did you migrate from?
I
Immigrate.
I was born and raised, partially raised in France. So I
So you
speak.
do have the Montreal in you.
Yeah, I do have the Montreal in me, yes, and I did live in Montreal, and I still have my mom is in Montreal actually,
Yeah.
and so I do speak French fluently. I learned English late in life. When I moved to actually before I go there, I was born in France, raised in Cameroon. It's a Central African country. Probably people know Nigeria. I'm next to Nigeria. It's actually east of Nigeria. And I learned English at a late age because I was raised in Cameroon, then raised in France, spoke a lot of French, sorry. And I moved to, my parents at one point decided to move to Canada. That's where when I moved to Canada, I realized that in Canada, I was in Montreal, which is a French-speaking city, sorry. And I realized I'm surrounded by English-speaking people. I must learn English. So what I did, I went to Alberta and I spent 2.5 years there, and that's where I picked up English. That's where I still have that French accent, but not that strong. And I still don't have that. People, when they speak French or even English, they probably wonder where my accent comes from because I don't have the strong French accent. I don't have the strong African accent. I don't have the US accent. I have a mixed accent, basically.
Well, you know what? Here's the important question. Are you a Canadians fan?
Yes,
Oh,
yes. I
we all
know, I
can't be
know, I know.
perfect. We all can't be perfect, okay? But
So I'm guessing you are the Colorado
I am
person.
not. I'm actually a New Jersey Devils fan. I'm a lifelong New Jersey Devils, before that Colorado Rockies, and even before that Kansas City Scouts fan. So I've been following the team since they were the Kansas City Scouts.
Are
So
you
yeah,
are
yeah.
you born and raised in Colorado or New Jersey?
My history is a little bit weird. I was born in New Jersey, went to Germany for the first 3 years of my life, lived in Colorado, Kansas, and now I've been back in Colorado for 20, 30. Oh my God. Here we go. Exactly what you just happened to you earlier.
Mhm.
34 years I've been back in Colorado. So
Okay.
I've lived the majority of my life here in Colorado, but yeah,
Yeah.
so you're you've been around a lot of places. Did that have anything to do with your faith? Were there a lot of like
You-
missionary reasons, or was there anything to do with the faith with a lot of the travel?
The road travel has nothing to do with my faith, but it has to do with my motives or my volunteering work that I've done. And I'll explain why. First, I'll start with my faith. Amin is an Arabic name. The reason it was Arabic name because my dad was Muslim. I say was because he passed 9 years ago, and rest in peace. And my mom was a Christian. She was a Christian, so I grew up in both faiths. And eventually, as I grew up and I became an adult, I decided to give my life to the Lord and Savior Jesus, because I was just in a place where I was able to compare the two religion, and I felt more connected with the Christian faith, and that helped. And also, probably the travel also because I lived in Cameroon. Cameroon is basically 50-50, so Muslim, Christian. I grew up in the two faith, Muslim and Christian. France was most obviously more Christian, French, and Canada also more Christian, but it had nothing to do necessarily with my faith. It's just I married a wonderful wife, and she was a God-fearing woman. She brings a lot of peace to I'm born in May, so I'm a Taurus. I'm very goal
Very strong.
oriented. She brings a lot of peace and calm, and then she helped me with my walk towards Christ, and then that's where I found my peace, and then that's where my faith come. She helped me a lot to be grounded and be peaceful.
You know, my wife is pretty much the exact same thing. She brings me a lot of peace and calm as long as I agree with what she says. If not, she's redneck and she'll make me
Yes.
agree to what
Yeah.
she says. So
Yes. Yes, boss.
she'll allow me to be peaceful as long as I'm doing what I'm told to do. So
Yes. Yes.
but hey, I mean, was
And
there any, yeah, please.
And then I wanted to add something about my travel. You know, I said something about my travel. My travel helped me a lot for what I love to do outside of what I'm doing, which is helping people through legal advice or helping with healthcare. I love helping kids. I came from a family of 6. I'm the number 4. I have 3 older sisters, 1 younger brother, 1 younger sister. I'm number 4. So I always love being around kids. And then everything I've done, every type of volunteering work was always around kids. Either being a big brother to a big brother, big sister program, either, raising money for hungry kids that want to play hockey, kids that can, kids that can afford 3 meals a day. So it was always around kids. And finally, the Lord gave me 2 boys at a late age, but there's no age to be a parent, to be a dad. And those 2 boys are very, very wonderful. I love them, and everything I do, it's always surrounded around kids. For me, kids are the next generation. Whether it's leukemia, help leukemia, hungry kids, kids that wanted to get into sports. I was a big brother for a big sister. I actually supervise kids and then manage summer camp. So those helped me because I was always surrounded by kids, and in Africa it's all family oriented, and everything I do it's always surrounded by around kids.
I mean, you also, as along with joining the Community Pay It Forward family, you're also a sponsor of the Miracle. And this is just from me to you. I think that you are so perfect for what we're doing in a Miracle, because your parents did something that, and you have the experience in something that a lot of people don't think can happen. There was that religious divide in the household, and you were held together. You obviously are a well-adjusted individual. You're a wonderful, wonderful person trying to help people. See, and that's one of the reasons why I'm doing a Miracle, is to show people that we don't have to be the same to be the same. We the kids out there, caring for kids is so important. Making sure that they have a chance, that way they have a chance. Making sure that there are options out there. So I am so excited about what you're going to bring to the Miracle. I think that coming from both sides, the Muslim side, the Christian side, your faith and your history, I think it's going to be wonderful, because you can show people that, look, this is possible. And I appreciate that so very much, and I think that we're going to have a lot of fun with that.
Thank you for introducing me to this program. And then I'm looking forward to participating. I'm looking forward to see how I can bring my input, and then bring the fact that I travel. I actually lived in 3 different continents also, and then I was able to be exposed to so many different ethnicity. And then I hope that, from what I understand, the program, the event itself is going to be, it's a very inclusive program, and I think having me on the team would help, and I'll do everything that I can to help grow
I
the
greatly appreciate
event.
it. I mean, how do people get a hold of you?
They can get a hold of me in different ways. First, I want to thank you, Zach, for putting the website together. There's a lot of information on the website. The email, jk@gmail.com, by phone. I have a phone number in Vermont, and also one in Quebec. So they could have access to those phone number. And I also have a link where they could book a time. What I love to do is doing this interaction for 30 minutes, get to know the person. Obviously you're going to find my website, you're going to find a lot of information. What I find with website is just information. What I like to do is communication. I like to communicate with people. I'm a communicator. So I'm more than welcome to spend half an hour getting to know the person, getting to know what's important to them, because it's all about what's important to you. Is it your family time? Is it your when I say family, it would be your parents or your kids. It could be a vacation. It could be anything. What's important to you, and then I hope that I could help them and meet them where and help them with what's important to them.
And one of the things that you're going to see about Amin is he can also help you as a bill negotiator. They can help reduce your bills by negotiating for you. So you can look into that. You're going to find Amin's profiles listed below. Please go in the information. Please go and visit. And you know what? If you're sick and tired of the standard insurance practices and all the hoops and loops and jumps you have to do through insurance, maybe this is the alternative you've been looking for. What's it going to hurt to give him a call for 30 minutes? Obviously, you get to talk to a wonderful man, and maybe he can help you find the right program for you. Make your life a lot easier because it's more to understand. Please visit his landing page on our website, communitypayitforward.us. Just type in up top, Amin, and it's going to pop up. You can go visit his page, and there's a place that you click, and it's going to take you right to his calendar so you can set up an appointment with him.
Yeah.
Amin, my friend, welcome to the team once again. Welcome to the family. And thank you so very much.
Well, Zach, I want to thank you for having me on the team. Thank you for introducing me to the team. Thank you for taking the time to share the community, taking the time with me, because over the last couple of weeks, I was traveling, busy, and then you allowed me to do to give me the time, and I appreciate, and I'll help grow the community as much as I can also.
We truly do believe, I tried to make sure that every time that I contacted you, my first concern was with your family. I know that you ended up having a sick young one, and that's more important to me than, than all the other things. But making sure that we're there for someone else's sick little one is so important to me and yourself. And you've already said that. So I am so happy to have you on board.
I appreciate, and then you definitely appreciate you checking on my little one, which is sometimes driving me crazy now, but he's doing fine.
Hey, you know what? They don't stop, buddy. I've got one that's 30 years old and one that just turned 22. So, yeah, they don't stop driving you crazy, but you know what? You never look at them without a smile on your face,
Oh,
knowing that everything good about you is standing in front of you. So, I love
yes,
my boys so much. My kids are it's the greatest thing I've ever done. So, it's a
I, I
wonderful, wonderful journey you've started, even though it was a little bit later.
it's never late. It's in God's timing.
That'll work.
It'll work.
So, all right. This holiday season, as the world celebrates in so many ways, some families are facing it apart, feeling the weight of loneliness. At a miracle of a community that cares, we are creating a space where everyone, regardless of faith or background, can share in the joy of this wonderful season. Join Santa and leaders from all walks of life for stories, special shout outs, and heartfelt messages from loved ones near and far. Children are taking the lead with art and fun, helping us bring the gift of books to children everywhere. Children in hospitals, children to families of all faiths, and to fortify traditions of families. This season, let's come together as a global community, one that cares, one that gives, and one that embraces all cultures, part of the miracle. Join us from December 24th to December 26th, and let's make this season unforgettable for everyone. That is coming up right around the corner. I mean, we are just, well, look at your calendar. You know, it's just right around the corner. I mean, there's no other way to say it. December is almost here. If you want to find out more about the miracle, you can go to this QR code right here, and you can become part of the QR code. Speaking of the QR code, and I probably should have planned this a little bit better, so please give me a second as I'm going to just kind of announce this right now before I've even really studied it. We have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful author, children's author, who has joined us, and she is donating 3 of her children's books and a virtual author visit. Okay, here's what we're going to do. You can get these 3 books. Okay. She will send you, Maggie Van Galen will send you the books. What I've asked Maggie to do is record reading these 3 books. The winner of the event is going to be the sponsor of Maggie reading these books on the show. So businesses, this is a chance for you to get involved by bidding on this. What we're going to do is we're going to be selling tickets for $20, and then we're going to draw a name on December 21st. The winner will be announced on December 21st on who is going to sponsor Maggie. This is a way for us for you to help us make sure that we get this show on there. Folks, we still need to get a lot of things going, all right? It looks like we've got our wonderful studio figured out. It looks like we're going to be going with this program and be able to run our show from this program, because so far we haven't had a lot of issues since the first show. But we're starting to get it figured out. Now we need to get a few other things that are needed. One of them being a translation program, okay? And these translation programs are not cheap. Your $20 donation, not only will it go to help us put this show on, it will help make sure that kids around the world are going to be able to hear Maggie Van Galen read these books, talk to Santa Claus, say hello to people that they love all over the world. And for us to understand what they're saying to the people that they love all over the world. This really gives us a chance to reach out, hold each other's hands, and take part in each other's lives. The miracle is something brand new. Something brand new, but something that can be very, very, very important. It has come time of the show where we get to talk to 2 of my favorite people in the world. We get to talk to Daniel Hodges and this wonderful lady, Angela, as we talk about common sense access. Whoever said ignorance is bliss never ran a business. Did you know the vast majority of businesses don't make their
I'm sitting here
products
going, come on.
accessible to people with disabilities? And did you know that the collective buying power of people with disabilities is over $2 trillion? And if you're a business owner, you need to know how to make your business accessible so you're not leaving this money on the table. I want to tell you about my family partners at Real Life Access, who can help you connect with this underserved market. Real Life Access clients experience three amazing things. First, a reputation for accessibility that brings customers to your door. Second, a freedom of worry about legal consequences from not being ADA compliant. And third, increased revenue. Real Life Access team members offer common sense accessibility solutions which won't break your budget. These are business people who understand the challenges faced by all small businesses. They are also people with disabilities who know what it takes to be accessible. Check out their courses, coaching packages, and so much more at reallifeaccess.com. You'll be glad you did.
What are we waiting for?
Okay, so we're still getting used to this new programming, but hey, everybody, welcome to Common Sense Access. My name is Zak Clayton. I am the president and founder, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PAC channels. I am here today with my two great friends, Angela Fowler and Daniel Hodges. Due to technical throw-ups, I guess is the best way to put it, Daniel is joining us with audio only. Thanks to the atmosphere, the internet's funky. I guess that's the best way to put it, right, guys? Is the internet's funky? So
The internet is the internet.
so
Yeah.
I am currently based in East Texas, where there's good internet all around where I live, but not where I live.
I've been in places where computers work everywhere but where I am, and my sons have no problem telling me, Dad, that is your fault. So my sons have no problems telling me that computer issues are mine, my blame. So
Zach, anytime you hear the acronym PEBCAC, you've been insulted.
What let's go on ahead and expound on that. What
PEBCAC means problem exists between chair and computer.
Okay. All right. So, hey, we want to begin by expressing our condolences and well wishes to everyone who's being affected by all of this terrible, terrible weather going on out there. And Community Pay It Forward and Pieces of Me and Real Life Access wants you to know that if there's anything that we can do, please reach out to any of us or all of us, and we will do whatever we can to help you out. We are here to help everyone. Make sure that that help is accessible for everyone. So, Angela, let's start with you. Can you please give us an introduction to yourself and Real Life Access?
I would, and before I jump into that, I just want to second what Zach says. When you're sitting out in California or wherever we are, it's hard to truly appreciate the devastation going on elsewhere. But I've listened to a few people describe it, and it's a terrible thing. So our thoughts and prayers and all that good stuff, and thoughts and prayers are never enough. But at any rate, I'm Angela Fowler. I'm the founder and CEO and everything else of Real Life Access, and we basically we teach people how to make things accessible, one human being at a time. We teach accessibility one human being at a time, and that's really the only way to do it. One company at a time, one human being at a time.
Angela, when we do programs like our upcoming miracle program, the one thing that we always tell people is, we're trying to help that first person because you can't help the second one until you help the first. Is that kind of the way that you see it with real life access?
You know, if I can teach one small business how to become accessible, that small business is going to be a role model for other small businesses.
That's a
It really,
wonderful.
yeah, it really is about the human connection. It's about showing people why it is so important for things to be accessible. The advocacy movement, I love you guys. I really do. But the advocacy, you guys sometimes have a messaging problem. Because what happens is the advocacy movement talks about the law, and they talk about discrimination, and they give you the message that if you're not accessible, you're discriminating against people with disabilities. And I think we need to stop using that type of we just need to stop. Just stop. Because nobody's out there trying to discriminate. Nobody wakes up and goes, how can I make the blind girl's life miserable today? I know what. I just won't put an alt tag on that image. I'll
And
just I'll just whip up a bunch of JavaScript and we don't need to bother with ARIA. Heck with those screen reader. Nobody's saying that. Come on. Nobody's saying that.
And I think one great example of that, Angela, is when we attempted to record this the other day. I played a video, and I never want to exclude anybody. And I realized when I went to go play this video, I looked at your face. First off, I was confusing the hell out of you because you didn't know what I was doing. And second off, I was playing a video with no narration. There was no, closed captioning, so nothing could be read on the thing. It was just pretty music is all you were hearing, and it's not I would never try to do something to exclude anybody, but this is one of the reasons why when you and I got together with Daniel and we started talking about this show, we wanted to make sure this is not a shake your finger at people. This is a, hey, this is what we can do together to make it make it accessible for everyone.
and and thank you for falling on the sword, Zach, because you didn't have to. But Zach, if you know Zach, you know that the last thing that he wants to do is make life difficult for anybody. But we don't. Everybody looks at things through the lens of their own experience, and sometimes we just miss things. Sometimes we're just knuckleheads. You know,
Yep.
myself included. So it's about education. It's about maybe you knuckle tap on somebody on the head and go, "Hey, goober," but you do it with love and you do it with a smile.
Right.
You don't go, "You're discriminating against black." No, it's no discriminating. Stop it.
Yeah, there is enough shaming, there's enough anger, and enough pointing the fingers at people right now. We don't need to do that anymore. Also joining us is the founder of a wonderful organization, a really good friend of mine for pretty much a year now, I think, Daniel Hodges, co-founder of Pieces of Me. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing okay. How about yourself?
Doing good, doing good. Can
Yeah,
you give me tell us a little bit about Pieces of Me, and what is your association, because I know you and Angela work really closely together with each other's organizations.
so Pieces of Me is an organization that my cousin Christy and I started back in 2019. We are working to erase the stigma surrounding disability and chronic illness. Really, what that means is we're trying to transform society's understanding of what disability means and the opportunities that come from opening the doors of inclusion in a thoughtful and meaningful way. So when we get rid of some of these misconceptions that are out there, when we raise consciousness, hopefully we can also provide some tools that take people from being aware to actually being in a position where they can help us be part of the solution. So, that's what I do in my nonprofit work. And my for-profit work, I consult with Angela for Real Life Access. On any given day, she'll either tell you I'm one of her right pain people or her biggest pain in the backside. Take your pick.
And sometimes both at the same time.
I was probably see oftentimes both at the same time. And Zach, as you and Angela were talking about the commercial, I've been thinking the last couple of days, when I was living in Idaho over the last several months until I got back to Texas. I would watch a daily sports program with one of my friends, and there would be 2 or 3 different companies that would routinely advertise on the sports program with some sort of video depictions and just some music in the background. And I finally, months into this regular daily broadcast, looked at my friend and said, "What the heck is this commercial advertising?" And he's like, "You know what? I never realized. Yeah, I guess there really isn't any way for you to know what they're advertising. One was advertising ice cream, the other was advertising an airline, and there was no way of knowing what was happening in these commercials unless you were sitting there actually looking at the screen."
Yet, Daniel, I'll tell you, seeing Angela's face, and Angela, I'm not trying to throw you under the bus or anything here, but seeing Angela's face in the green room backstage, watching her first off just being confused because she didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I was trying to make it to where she could come into focus again, but then seeing that, what is this guy acting like a guy who spins discs? First off, no, because I don't listen to classical music. That's our buddy Z who does that, my brother
Of
Z.
course.
But so it would have been metal if I was playing music, and then I probably would have seen Angela with other faces. So
You would definitely have seen me with other faces. That would not have, you do that, and I'm gonna be spinning up some Hank and Merle and all them guys just because.
Okay, so one of these days, Zach and I are going to have an episode about the best hard rock and heavy metal bands.
You got it. We'll do that. So
yeah, you guys do that. You guys do that.
Okay, let's we again would like to welcome everybody to Common Sense Access, and our episode today is going to be talking about how do we define accessibility based on 3 categories. Angela, you're going to start this one out, correct?
I'm gonna start this one out. The 3 categories. So there's 3 categories of accessibility. Now, when you think of accessibility, and I'm gonna challenge everybody. I mean, we primed the pump with this episode, but so I'm not going to challenge you. But usually, when people think of accessibility, they have 1 or 2 images in their mind. They might think of a wheelchair ramp. Sometimes they'll think of alt text. These are definitely part of the accessibility landscape, but they're only one part of the accessibility landscape. So the purpose of this episode is really to broaden everybody's knowledge of accessibility. So let's start with physical accessibility. We'll start with the wheelchair ramp, but we'll move out from that because physical accessibility includes everything from whether the coffee pot is actually reachable to people using wheelchairs, or whether things are, on a shelf that most human beings can actually reach. To, what about medication bottles? I use the term adult-proof medication bottles because you have to be a child to be able to open it.
Oh, yeah.
What about, loud hard rock music playing in the background when you're trying to have a conversation or listen to something?
See, that was actually kind of funny. I was able to throw up the devil horns when you did that. So
Perfect,
do the
perfect.
whole metal
That
thing, but
is not only that is a perfect response and a good visual description.
uh,
That reminds me of when I was in class one time, and I was jarring back and forth with this other girl who just is just as sassy as I am, and she threw me up the old one finger salute, and our colleague was like, yeah, she just flipped you off, and I said, if you're gonna do that, you need to make it accessible. So she came up and she kind of took my hand and go, look.
yeah. Physical accessibility. This is the one that is it the one in your experiences? Is it the one that is concentrated on the most? Because in all actuality, it's like, isn't it the easiest to see that there's a problem?
Yes, it
Okay.
is it is the most visually obvious, um, which is why we start there, right? If you're gonna teach anything, you start with what they know, and then you move on out from there. Um, but physical accessibility is everything from that good old wheelchair ramp to things in the environment. And food allergies. I was at a buffet for work. And we had one of those big social things that people like me just go for the free food and pray it gets over soon. Anyway, um, but we're trying to identify which kind of pizza is which. And it's tough because you had to visually identify the pizza, and sometimes that's difficult, right? Sometimes you can't as a sighted person, you just can't be sure what it contains. So you know a simple solution to that, which people genuinely don't think of, is just one of two things. Just jot down the what this is for the sighties, but also have somebody there to kind of identify what's what, and sort of explain things. um, Now sometimes that's more practical than others, but there are such simple solutions to make things more physically accessible that people just simply don't think of. You know,
Yeah.
so Dan, do you have anything on physical accessibility? I'm running off at the mouth this morning.
No, I mean, like you said, it's not just the tangible things that we always think of, but things like aromas or other allergens, lights, sound, everything that is material in some sense.
Yep, everything that can be touched and moved through. So let's move on to digital accessibility. And we've already been talking about digital accessibility, right? Um, Digital accessibility is everything that comes to us electronically. Um, so I'm going to start with advertising. I never start with advertising, but we already talked about advertising. So am I buying ice cream or an airline ticket? I'm gonna go ahead and place the order and just see what comes and how much money gets spent. And as snarky as that sounds, as a business, you have got to make sure that your advertising is such that everybody knows what they're buying. And here's the thing, it's not just for blind people. What if the people listening to the sports program were driving? What if they're watching a 2-year-old? What if they're otherwise multitasking? Their eyes are, because it's a talk show, they're listening to it, right? So what if their eyes are otherwise engaged? They're still not going to know what's being advertised if you don't have some sort of soundtrack, and not just a soundtrack of disembodied noises and words, a soundtrack that actually tells the viewer what is being advertised. So that's digital accessibility. It also involves social media. When you comment on my status with a GIF, I can only guess as to what you're trying to say based on the context of the post, because if you don't describe that gift is not accessible.
Let me, I've got a real quick question about this. Can you over over explain something? Uh,
Oh, trust me.
okay.
Um, we're gonna have to do a special episode on explaining things, and different people want a different level of detail too. I tell people it's an art, not a science. Too much detail, and my brain just freezes and runs away. Um, but some people like all that detail. But a lot of times, what I've seen people do when they first realize that they need to explain things, is they overcompensate and they explain every single detail of the thing. But really, what is needed is just the important information. I don't need to know how many leaves are on the apple tree.
Right.
So the website is a big one too, and one of the major things that we do with our buddy Trevor and Z is we do website remediation. Um, and I'll give you an example. Number one rule of accessibility of web accessibility, or one of them: do not require a mouse. If your website cannot be used with a keyboard, blind people can't use it. Sighted keyboard users, so people who have motor difficulties that make using the mouse difficult. People that just prefer to use a keyboard, and a lot of people do. A lot of people just think that keyboard navigation is actually faster, believe it or not. Those guys are going to be. They can use a mouse, but they're people go with what's easiest, right? People go path of least resistance. Nobody wants to work any harder than they need to. So one rule: do not require a mouse. Cardinal rule. Um, so that's what we do. We teach people how to not require a mouse, because you're looking at me going, "Yeah, don't require a mouse. How the hell do I do that?" That's what we do. That's what we teach people. That's what we can do for you, if the situation calls for it. So it sounds like we're putting a lot on you, and we are. But for one thing, it's not going to happen overnight. We understand that. I think people get a little overwhelmed. They think, I got to do all this today. No, um, and two, real life access is with you every step of the way. Anything further on digital, Dan?
I would say, one of the benefits of working with experts like Real Life Access is also, we can help customers understand whether a glitch in the coding or a barrier is really significant or not. So, for example, let's say Zach and I are trying to buy our tickets online to go see Judas Priest. And, there's a real difference between whether you run into an image on the ticket screen that is, maybe it's a picture of the band and it's not properly labeled. That can be, slightly inconvenient, but it's not a huge deal. Versus if something is broken in the code that won't allow us to select our seats, or, causes me to not be able to, put in my credit card information properly. You could have everything else absolutely perfect on there, but for that one thing. But that one thing could prevent me from completing the purchase. So it's not just about the number of accessibility errors that are going to be present, because there's always going to be something. It's like with a house, there's always something you could go and tweak. But is the problem something that is cosmetic, or is the problem something that needs immediate redress? Otherwise, you won't be able to proceed.
Exactly. And let me talk a little bit about payment processors, because most people, well, pretty much everybody uses some sort of third party payment processor. So if that's you and you're sitting there going, "Oh my God, what we can do one of two things. We can recommend a more accessible payment processor to switch to, or if you're using third party software and you feel like you need to use that software, we can actually help you approach that company and say, look, this product that you are selling to your clients is not accessible to people with disabilities, and it's making your clients vulnerable to not only legal liability, but liability in the court of public opinion. So let us help you make your software accessible for the benefit of not only you, but your clients. We can help you have that conversation. Because, a lot of people don't want to do it. They don't have time, for one thing, and they don't know how, for another. So that's something that real life access can do. But yeah. Do be cognizant of it. Don't make it hard for me to give you money. Yeah, because then I'll end up giving somebody else the money.
Right. Right. One of the things that I learned in this segment about the digital is I've never thought about how important um, navigating with a mouse is. How you need your eyes to do it. You can't just click and point with the mouse and anywhere. And I had never put the two together again. And so that's one of the things that I really learned in this segment.
Yeah, you need your eyes. You need a
Hmm.
steady hand.
Yeah.
You need a hand that works. Um, and you need to prefer the mouse mode of navigation. Some people don't. So, the mouse is one way to do things, but it is for a lot of people, it is either an inferior way to do it, or it's a way that just doesn't work. Um, so moving on to cultural accessibility. And cultural accessibility is actually the hardest to define. But an example of cultural accessibility actually happened the other day, right? When Zach played that video, we handled the situation with humor, with, okay, this is what we're going to do in the future. Nobody, it was just an ordinary thing that we just dealt with. And the crux of cultural accessibility, the thing that you need to remember is difference is ordinary. If a blind person walks in, don't treat it like an extraordinary event. Treat it like, oh, I got a customer who's blind. Okay. How can I help them? Do I need to help them? And when difference is ordinary, building your products and services so that they naturally accommodate difference becomes the ordinary course of things.
Okay. Let me ask a favor here. We've talked about it before, but do you think it would be a good idea to show people this commercial on what we were talking about, and then that way they can see exactly where I messed up in the creation of this commercial?
You show the commercial, and I will give a visual description based on whatever happens to be in my head. No, actually, I won't.
Yeah. Let's not do that. We're trying to keep this at least at PG
Yeah.
25.
No.
So,
Okay. So here's
but
what we're going to do. So I urge viewers, okay, close your eyes, or if you're driving, do not close your eyes. But focus your eyes on something other than what's on the screen, and see if you can't tell me from listening to this video what the video is all about.
So, okay, here we go.
You're away.
No, as a person with full sight, as a person with, most of my faculties available, there's a lot of information in there. The one thing that I really made a mistake on, one of the things that we tried to make a point, I tried to make a point on, accessible for everyone. It states it right there in print. I never ever thought,
And
holy,
that's a pretty song. I like the piano. I like the rhythm. It's sort of got this easy rhythm that you can just sort of rock to and just sort of get the feel of. Close your eyes, let your mind drift away. Yeah, I like playing that music. Um, and that's what I get out of that as a blind person.
yeah. And like I said, it was really funny. Well, it wasn't really funny. It was shocking to me when I realized, and I would repeat the exact words I thought of as soon as I looked down at your picture, and I realized, holy cow, she can. I didn't say cow. I said to myself, she doesn't know. She has no way of knowing what's going on right now. No way of going on right now. And that realization, it it embarrassed me, but it wasn't intentional. Like I said, it was something that I was just like, it was a real slap in the face moment.
And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, how do I handle this?
Well, the good news is that I can, I'm pretty easy to handle. All you got to do is look at me and go, "Huh? What is wrong with you?"
And
So,
if I'd been faster, I would have played it off like you did it intentionally in the teaching moment. I didn't quite succeed in doing that. I should have. You
yeah, I will be honest with you. I am so, if anything, if the one great thing that came out of that is, Z and I are going to talk later on today, and we're going to rework that spot, because that's a spot for Mr. Z,
I'm
and we're going to rework it.
tease the hell out of Mr. Z on Friday. He is gonna. He
Oh
is gonna
yeah.
like Mr. Z. What are you doing?
Yeah,
I'm
that's good. Then he can take some of this, self-imposed heat that I put on there. But it's actually made my last couple days very, very busy, because I'm going back to all the spots that I've created with no voice over, and trying to correct things.
And I think that's such an important point because, as Angela was saying earlier, we have got to turn down the temperature. And I'm speaking directly in advocacy circles. We've got to turn down the temperature and give people a chance to remedy these things with our help, instead of feeling like they're up against it. And I mean, Angela and I are aware of, a protest that's happening in a couple of weeks where we're like, okay, maybe the companies, these are big companies that have consistently, um, not done what the blind community has hoped, but the messaging is also wrong, and we have to look at what are we doing to help be part of the solution, and what are we doing that we need to be aware of that is actually perpetuating the problem? Because each of us, no matter how we try, if we're not very careful and self-aware, can easily do harm that we're not expecting to do.
Yeah, and let me just say two things, because I also don't want to turn this too far the other way. We advocates aren't perfect, and sometimes we speak from a place of frustration.
Mm-hmm.
I know that my when when it's somebody else's accessibility issue, or if I'm working with a client or I know there's going to be issues, I'm expecting issues, I am a calm, rational, jovial, level-headed, easy to work with, professional woman. When I'm not expecting issues and I just expect to get something done, like right now, I become completely different. And my frustration just explodes into the point. And I have to stop and I have to take a step back and say, you know, try to come into some of the accessibility, and it's helped me say, client.
I am. I'm actually really hoping that on the recording we could pick you up a little bit better, because your microphone just all of a sudden, now your microphone cut out. You're not on mute. I don't know what happened. We just lost your audio.
Is
Um,
that
that's better. Yeah.
okay? My microphone was too far away.
Okay.
So anyway, where did you lose me?
It pretty much started right after you began speaking.
Oh, lovely. Okay. So when I'm working with a client or when I'm advocating for somebody else's accessibility issue, basically I know there's going to be issues and I go into it in professional mode. I'm a calm, jovial, easygoing, rational, understanding professional. But when I'm trying to get something done and there's accessibility barriers that I wasn't expecting, and I just want to get this done, I'm a completely different person. I become the customer. My frustration level goes into the stratosphere, and I have to check myself sometimes. So for non-accessibility professionals that come to you and say, this shit's inaccessible, please understand that they're coming from a place of intense frustration. Um, and this may be the sixth or seventh inaccessible thing that they've run into all day, and you're the one they were able to catch. So please understand, these guys are frustrated. They've been they over 90% of websites have accessibility problems. So this is how commonplace this is. Now, to my advocate friends, I'll say to you, if I hear you use the word discrimination one more time, I swear to God, I will give you the biggest raspberry on because
She's threatening raspberries. Watch out, everybody.
except in the rarest of cases, this is not deliberate discrimination. Now, Dan mentioned the protests, and you've heard of this company. This is a company that has grown exponentially over the past decade. I mean, we're talking a meteoric rise into household name status. You have used this company probably. If you haven't used it, you've heard of it. And there's a lot of complicated issues going on. They've grown. I think they have outgrown their ability to provide effective customer service. And I think they've suddenly decided that there's a number of things going on, and I'm not even sure that I've sorted it all out of my own head. But when we go and protest that company, maybe that company deserves it. Maybe they don't. Maybe they deserve it in some ways and not in others. But what message does that send to the small business person that says, "Wow, if you're going to protest that company, maybe I'm next"? First of all, you're not. But second of all, we need to get better at messaging. We need to get better. If we're gonna make the world a more accessible place, we need to start meeting people where they are and working with them.
I think one of the biggest messages out there, it has to be, look, every day of your life you're learning something new.
Yep.
Okay? Every day of your life, you're learning something new. And if we approach this in a more kinder, gentler way, it's a hell of a lot easier to learn something when somebody's saying, hey, I went to your website and I was having trouble, navigating in this area.
Yep.
I've been on other websites and they've done it like this, and I know that was really helpful for me. You're going to
Yep.
get a lot, there's all the old sayings, but you're going to get a lot more respect than if you walk in there and you just automatically go after him and say, well, I was on your website, I couldn't do this, F you, I'm gone.
You're
Okay.
Yep.
intimidating yeah, the putting people on the defensive has always led to better relationships and more productive working together. That yeah. Where did we ever get that idea? Where did we ever get the idea? I'm going to motivate them to do better without telling them how to do better. You got to tell them how, and you got to tell them why.
If we were to encapsulate the work that we do on cultural accessibility, both the course that we wrote and the overall theme of that segment of our work. Difference is ordinary is one of the catchphrases. The other one is curiosity over skepticism. And
Exactly.
we're gonna do a full episode on that, so help me, at some point. But curiosity. Okay, what do you need? How can I help? How can I support you? Just good human questions. And then also on the other side, I see this barrier. I'm experiencing this frustration, and what is causing this? The what is the barrier on the developer end, on the business end, that is keeping this in place? I think as advocates, we can do a better job asking those questions. As businesses and as allies, people could do a better job of asking, those how questions from a curiosity standpoint, willing to learn. But it is going to take time. But it also comes back to saying, okay, I can be part of the solution, which starts with me being self-aware enough to examine where I'm at and whether my intentions are aligning with my actions, recognizing that we're human. They're probably not fully, but we can always take an extra stride to align our intentions with our actions more effectively every day.
And let me give you an actionable next step. If you're a business person, you have accessibility challenges. You don't know what they are, but you know they maybe they'll take a while to solve. But when that customer comes to you, while you're fixing the accessibility challenges long term, but solve their problem for them in the moment. Empower your customer service representatives to solve their problem for them in the moment, because one of the most just frustrating things that I run across as a blind consumer is when I call customer service because things aren't accessible, and I get, well, unfortunately, the system won't allow me
Yeah.
to do A, B, and C. And the reason that a lot of blind people or people with disabilities file lawsuits, I think, is because they don't know how else to solve the problem. It's like when you get frustrated with the computer and you just smack something.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do here. I'm frustrated. This I feel like this is an immovable situation here. So empower your customer service representatives or do it yourself to solve their problem for them in the moment.
Well, I think this is one of those things where we're going to be talking about quite a bit. I think this is one of those that's going to grow, and with changes, this will be one that we talk about a lot more in the near future. Angela, how do people reach out to you?
Well, you can reach out to me by going to www.reallifeaccess.com, fill out my little contact form, or you can simply email me at Angela at reallifeaccess.com. And, you know, next episode is going to be a fiery one too, because we're going to do a little myth busting about disability.
That's going to be fun. Daniel, how do people reach out to you?
So feel free to email me at daniel@piecesofme, PEACES of me.org. And, you know, Zach, you asked me earlier in the episode what Pieces of Me does. And one of the things that we do is we provide that safe place that fills the gap between having the good intention of being inclusive and actually knowing how to do it. You know, a lot of times people are very afraid to engage in those early awkward conversations because they don't want to say or ask the wrong thing. That's one of the things that I do with Pieces, is give you that spot where, you know, I say, look, if you're willing to engage in this conversation with me, I'm going to assume good intent because you're showing good intent. Yeah. So let's sit down, work through the fluff, and let's figure out how to make this work for you so that you can go out and do your best work.
Look, I love when a business person asks me, how the hell do blind people use the web anyway? Because that gives me an opening.
Yep.
That gives me the opportunity to teach.
And look, the whole point of this is to educate. The whole point about this is just to make you aware that, you know, of things that can be done. There's no finger pointing. This is just so far it's an eye-opening show, as I've already expressed. Well, Angela and Daniel, thank you so very much for this week's episode of Common Sense Access. Next week, we will be myth busting, which is great. I can't wait for that one. So I want to catch gas in a can and light it on fire. Oh, no, wrong kind of myth busting, but still.
That's going to be fun. Get ready for the next one, because some of these myths that we're going to come up with are understandable, and some of them.
yeah. I've seen one question that confused me, but all right. Well, thank you both.
All right.
Hey everyone, it's Zach, introducing a special edition to Miracle of a Community That Cares event, where award-winning children's author and community Pay It Forward giving partner Maggie Van Galen is generously donating 3 of her beloved books and 1 hour virtual authors meeting valued at over $175. You know us, we're going to do things a little bit different. Maggie will personally read these heartwarming stories during the event. You could be the solo sponsor of this read. Tickets are just $20, and the winning ticket holder will be announced December 21st at noon East. Don't miss a chance to make a meaningful impact this holiday season, and get your tickets now by scanning the QR code or visiting us at communitypayitforward.us. When the form opens up, this is what it'll look like. Scroll down to the Make a Donation, Purchase a Ticket, or Become a Sponsor section. Get involved how it best suits you. Tickets can be bought by selecting the last option of this section. Thank you for supporting a miracle of a community that cares. That's honestly the best song I've ever made a video to. It really is. That is the coolest damn song. So I enjoy it at least. Hey, I told you guys about we have made a connection with Maggie Van Galen, and she is donating 3 of her books. Plus, and this is the big thing, she's also going to read these books on the Miracle Program. Our contest is simply this. We're going to be selling tickets. You make a purchase of a ticket, maybe more than one, whatever. And on December 21st, we are going to draw the winner. And the winner will get the sponsorship of Maggie's hour, where she's going to read these 3 books. So this is, you get to do whatever you want to do with the books. If you want to take and donate them to the hospitals, glorious, fantastic, awesome. If you want to take them, get them for your kids, for people in your area, awesome. But the cool thing is that we can have Maggie read these books live on air. And when she does that, we can tell people at hospitals everywhere, hey, put the kids that you can in front of the computer at this time. Because this author is going to read these 3 stories. And the kids can sit there and listen to the author reading the 3 stories, and they're going to see your name as the sponsor. So, I am working as we speak right now. As a matter of fact, by the time this plays, I will have I'll have the code that you can go and you can donate. You can make your purchase of your ticket. Your name will go into the drawing. And then on December 21st, we are going to draw for your chance to be the sponsor, the solo sponsor for Maggie Van Halen Reads Her Books. This is, let me find it here. There we go. We'll just do it this way. This is what it looks like. You've got the 3 books here: The Banana Tree, The Diamond Mine, and Adventures of Kina and Ernest, a New Friend. So I think it's Kina and Ernest. I'm sorry, my eyes are not that good, but those are the 3 books that she will be reading. We will be recording it, and we will play it at a separate time, or at a scheduled time. And again, we will let you know when that is. But for that hour, your family, your business, your nonprofit, whatever it is, for a $20 ticket purchase, is going to get 1 hour of the show. It's going to be yours for 1 hour. Your logo is going to pop up in the corner right like that. Right here's our logo. That can be your logo. Okay? So all you got to do is watch, because and like, please make sure that you like, share, and comment on this video. And when you do that, be looking, because somewhere in the explanation is where you can go and make a purchase of your ticket. Kind of a neat idea. And I appreciate Maggie coming up with this. I think it's a fantastic thing. This is over 170. She charges $175 an hour to come in and talk about her books. So with the books and with everything, it's $175 value, but then you get to take into consideration that this is going to be 1 hour with Maggie and your logo all alone. Think of it this way. If we have to loop that video 2 times, then you're going to be the solo. You're going to be the solo guy for our solo business for or family for 2 hours. 3 times, 3 hours. Okay, so remember, your logo is going to be there. There's not going to be any other logos. I think the community pay it forward logos on everything, but I'm not sure. But your logo will be the solo logo in this corner for that hour. We will also take and we will open and end that hour with a conversation of you coming on and recording with us, saying your piece, saying thank you. This is what we do. This is who we are. We want to thank you very much. We would like to introduce you to Maggie Van Galen. And at the end, thank you, Maggie Van Galen, for reading your books. We are ... We want to thank you for doing what you do. $20 a ticket. Okay, that's going to, 1, help put this show together, 2, purchase additional books, and 3, kick ass when it comes to people and depression during the holiday season. The holiday season should never include depression. Okay? It just shouldn't. Depression should never be part of the holiday season, holiday traditions. Let's make sure that we're reaching out to people who cannot make it to places. Maybe they're stuck in the hospital. Maybe they're just working through this time. Maybe they're deployed. Folks, maybe they've done some things they probably shouldn't have, and they just can't come home because they're guests of the government or whatever. And they are, the kids still love them. Let's say something. We're going to find a way that we can take and record this, and we can get it to you, and you can have it for a memento, for a small donation, and then you can turn that memento into something extremely special. So again, $20 tickets, and you are going to be the sponsor of this event right here. This big one all around me. Your logo will appear right here in the corner, all by its lonesome self, for the entire hour. Hey everyone, this is Zak, a special offer, introducing a special edition to Miracle of a Community That Cares event, where award-winning children's author and community pay it forward giving partner Maggie Van Galen is generously donating 3 of her beloved books and 1 hour virtual authors meeting valued at over $175. You know us, we're going to do things a little bit different. Maggie will personally read these heartwarming stories during the event. You could be the solo sponsor of this read. Tickets are just $20, and the winning ticket holder will be announced December 21st at noon East. Don't miss a chance to make a meaningful impact this holiday season and get your tickets now by scanning the QR code or visiting us at communitypayitforward.us. When the form opens up, this is what it'll look like. Scroll down to the Make a Donation, Purchase a Ticket, or Become a Sponsor section. Get involved how it best suits you. Tickets can be bought by selecting the last option of this section. Thank you for supporting a miracle of a community that cares. This event right here, this big one all around me, your logo will appear right here in the corner, all by its lonesome self, for the entire hour. This is a special offer from Maggie Van Halen and her wonderful, wonderful Keno and Ernest books. So please make sure that you consider buying a ticket. You know, it's a $20 investment, folks. Let's be honest. A lot of you guys are going to spend that on coffee today. Not me. Coffee sucks. It just does. Coffee's awful. Of course, I had to wait for my wife to leave the room before I said that because she would throw things at me. She likes coffee. I like soda. So, matter of fact, look at this. I'm actually drinking water. But this is how much of a wackadoo I am, okay? My wife she cares about me, and she's always trying to get me to drink water. And I went to talk to the doctor the other day, and the doctor told me, "You need to drink water, asshole." Literally said this to me. I'm like, okay. And so I came home and I asked my wife, "Hey, we still have that bottle that you get at Walmart that you have the little flavor things that you can put in it?" And she goes, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, I'll make you a deal. You make me one of those a day and I'll drink it." And I told her flat out, "I'm going to tell you, if you don't make it, it ain't going to happen." Not just because I don't want to do it. I don't want to drink water, but I'll forget. I can drink a dozen of these damn things in an hour. I don't drink water. I just don't do it. I've probably, since I've started this, I maybe have gotten up to a gallon, and that's been about a week and a half. I'd say this year, in total, I probably drank about 3 gallons of water. So in total. And that's count, well, no, maybe a little bit more if you count the Propel that I drink. But I'm not a water drinker. So, really fun show. Daniel Hodges, Pieces of Me. Just wonderful organization, wonderful people. Just caring individual. He is one of the nicest guys in the world too. He really, really is. I mean, it's just so considerate. I'll tell you this: if there was ever a room where you had Mr. Z and Daniel sitting in it, it would probably give you cavities. And I wish I was joking about that, but I am not, because that would be like the sweetest room in the world. So, and again, I wish I was joking about that, but anybody who knows these two gentlemen, they know what I'm saying. They absolutely know what I'm saying. So, but thank you, Daniel, for joining us again for number 3. Number 4 will be next week. I also want to thank Angela Fowler, Real Life Access. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful sponsor. And I really enjoy having Real Life Access as a family member, as a partner, and as a friend. Whoever said ignorance is bliss never ran a business. Did you know the vast majority of businesses don't make their products accessible to people with disabilities? And did you know that the collective buying power of people with disabilities is over $2 trillion? And if you're a business owner, you need to know how to make your business accessible so you're not leaving this money on the table. I want to tell you about my family partners at Real Life Access, who can help you connect with this underserved market. Real Life Access clients experience 3 amazing things. First, a reputation for accessibility that brings customers to your door. Second, a freedom of worry about legal consequences from not being ADA compliant. And third, increased revenue. Real Life Access team members offer common sense accessibility solutions which won't break your budget. These are business people who understand the challenges faced by all small businesses. They are also people with disabilities who know what it takes to be accessible. Check out their courses, coaching packages, and so much more at reallifeaccess.com. You'll be glad you did. Again, thank you, Angela Fowler, for being a huge part of what we do. That's it, folks. That's it for tonight. I want to thank you all very much. By the way, we're going to incorporate the auction. I'm sorry, not the auction, but we're going to incorporate this contest. Buy your ticket for $20 using this QR code. Go to where you can become a sponsor, and it's going to say, bid for sponsorship or something like that. And it's $20, and you can bid to be a sponsor of this program. Every bid, every donation to this goes to help us put the show on, advertise the show. A portion of every sponsorship buys books, and a portion of every sponsorship also helps us to pay for the show. So, so please sponsor if you can, bid if you can, but become that sponsor for Angela and her wonderful, wonderful program. Use this QR code right here, this guy, and you can get in there. When you get in there, you can see it, you can read it, all about it, and it can, we can change some people's lives. It'll be a good time. Hey everyone, it's Zach. So, introducing my name is Zak Clayton. Special edition to Miracle of a Community That Cares event, where award-winning children's author and community Pay It Forward giving partner Maggie Van Galen is generously donating 3 of her beloved books and 1 hour virtual authors meeting valued at over $175. You know us, we're going to do things a little bit different. Maggie will personally read these heartwarming stories during the event. You could be the solo sponsor of this read. Tickets are just $20, and the winning ticket holder will be announced December 21st at noon East. Don't miss a chance to make a meaningful impact this holiday season and get your tickets now by scanning the QR code or visiting us at communitypayitforward.us. When the form opens up, this is what it'll look like. Scroll down to the Make a Donation, Purchase a Ticket, or Become a Sponsor section. Get involved how it best suits you. Tickets can be bought by selecting the last option of this section. Thank you for supporting a miracle of a community that cares.
Hello world, my name is Z, or you can call me Mr. Z. I am a web developer, and I am also a consultant at Z World Webs. My one goal is to develop custom websites that are specifically catered to your organization's needs. I completely understand that building a website is an exhilarating, exciting, and significant step in connecting with your audience. Your organization has Z potential to make a meaningful impact, whether it's supporting animal rights, advocating for equality, combating human trafficking, or honoring the brave individuals who have served our country. Your mission is too important to be held back by the challenges a website can present, and I am here to ensure that your website works for you, not against you. whether it's maintaining, developing, or redeveloping a custom website that is specifically catered to your needs. And with that being said, I would be more than delighted to learn more about your organization and, of course, develop a website Z World is waiting for. Thank you.
And it can, we can change some people's lives. It'll be a good time. So, my name is Zak Clayton. I am the president and founder of Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the IMpACT channels. I want to thank you so very much for joining us tonight. Again, Angela and Daniel, thank you both so very much. Amin Njonkou, Amin Njonkou. I make names so much more difficult than they actually are. Njonkou, who can't say that? Thank you. His business is Better Healthcare Experience. You can find him by going to communitypayitforward.us and search AMIN Insurance Njonkou Health. Search any of those words and it'll come up with Amin. Talk to the gentleman. He is a good guy. He's genuinely a good guy. He's going to be invaluable to what we're doing because he's going to be able to bring us a little bit from both the Christian and the Muslim side and discuss what we're doing in a way that, not many people have experienced. So it's going to be kind of neat to have him on there. To you, thank you for watching. Thank you for participating. Please love somebody out there because somebody out here loves you. Folks, make sure that you understand that if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. No one has to go it alone when we all come together. I love you. I hope to see you next week, right back here when we bring you episode 4 of Real Life Access. Have a little bit more fun, and we've got a couple more surprises, more talk about the miracle, and so much more. So please join us next week right here on the IMpACT channel, podcasting for all coming together. Good night.
Show me the way. You wanna hold the heart of Sunset Boulevard. Bring me here, 'cause it's not quite clear to be a part of Sunset Boulevard.